My cousin caused drama at my wedding, so I broke all ties with my dad's side of the family.
One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch.
Hello there. It all started a few years back when I didn't even know when and who I was going to marry. This cousin of mine, from my father's side, let's call her Lisa, got married to a guy I really didn't like. Don't hate me for it. Later, you'll realize no one in the family likes him. Let's call him for Robert. By the way, this comes from Enough Carbo 2769 of the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, still, my cousin married him, and a few years later, they came to live near us. Now, my father, a really nice person, helped them settle down completely because, of course, they were new to the place. Now, this guy thinks he owns us all because we live a slow life and he came from the big, hurry city area.
He's all about that there hustle and bustle.
According to him, we don't know how to live because we don't show off and have big fancy things in our houses. For all these years, he has made fun of all the cousins who live nearby by passing comments and whatnot. We all stayed quiet because, of course, he is the son-in-law of the family now. For all 3 to 4 years, he has been feeding little lies and pointing out every single mistake. All details to my cousin. Ultimately, my cousin also started resenting us all, but didn't show up. But you can feel it from their speaking, meeting, and whatnot. In between all this, Lisa had a fight with my other cousin. That's a whole nother story to tell. But let's just focus here. Now, this fight came to a point where these two cousins, who I love wholeheartedly, stopped talking to each other. Now comes my wedding preparations and the real drama.
The real drama.
Lisa and Robert started showing their real colors. My engagement day, she stayed annoyed the whole time and just smiled at the pictures. My fiance and I were having dinner, and she and her husband sat a few feet from us and totally ignored us. Not even looking at us. Yeah, they're probably like, someone else is getting attention. We can't give them attention.
We would like all the attention, please.
Just to be clear, we were the only people in the room. Only I know how awkward it was to sit there when my fiance had no idea why she's behaving like this. After a few days, I texted her asking what was wrong. Because I love her and wanted her to be a part of my wedding like I was at hers. Working as a bridesmaid full-time from shopping to taking 10 days off non-paid leave, which I couldn't afford. So she texted back saying she didn't think I would do this to her. I was taken by surprise. She told me that she had come by my house 15 days ago and I wasn't home to receive her. How could you not be there 15 days ago to receive her? A backstory, that day I had my salon appointment for my engagement, which I was late. So I stayed at my other cousin's home whom she had a fight with. According to Lisa, I was partying with my other cousin and did not give her enough attention. I knew it was about attention. I freaking called that.
Yeah, these are little attention babies.
I was at the salon appointment. I kept saying, I'm sorry, but I can't choose between two people I love, and I want both people at my wedding. But she came to my parents' house, crying and all complaining to my parents about, look at her, look what she's doing to her. I listened to all the crap and let her speak her mind so she would calm down, but I was wrong. After that, she made herself distance from me and my family, telling each detail to their mother and in her city. Now her mother went after my father. They are so helpful and considerate, but in reality, all she did was lie to her mother that she's visiting us every other day, which she is not. Lisa and her mother called me for shopping and to do some damage control. I went happily, but oh boy, I came back crying after 3 days.
3 days of shopping?
Hey, 3 days of war, man.
After 3 days of shopping, I'd be crying too.
I was watching The Mummy and I saw a part where they were like, they were at war for 7 years. And I'm like, how can you be constantly at war for 7 straight years? How do you eat? How do you blah, 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 blah. Like I was like overthinking like 24/7, 7 years straight.
The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
The Scorpion one.
The Scorpion one?
Yeah.
Or the Scorpion King? The Mummy 2.
Yeah, that one. They taunted me the whole time. Didn't let me shop what I wanted for my wedding. They left me in the car alone when I had a fever and was hungry to check on some garage sales.
Bro, you were sick and tired and they ditched you for garage sales?
You're shopping for your own wedding?
These people suck.
Now, mother of Lisa came a few days before the wedding, and the whole time she kept on complaining about her pain and how her daughter was all alone with no relatives in the city. When all we did was call her, she didn't take the call and told her we're not going to give her enough attention. I am the bride. I should be crying for attention. Lisa was talking through text this whole time to me very nicely. She's lying. She's like, oh, everything's fine. No. Mom, they won't save me.
Is that her? She's in the room with us, right? Oh, that was you. Oh, wow. That was a great impression.
Thank you. Wedding function starts, and guess who is not there? Lisa and her husband, stinking Robert. They made such a big deal out of all of it that they didn't attend one function, saying she was ill. My aunt, Lisa's mother, asked my brother to go to their home, leaving the functions of the wedding and saying sorry and to bring them to the venue. Dude, I was fed up with all of this drama. I was just trying to keep it all together because this was the last function of me and my parents' home. Wedding day comes. I got married and left for my in-laws' place. My grandfather, who was really happy about my wedding, asked for a cig after the rituals. He's not allowed, but he was so dang happy that he couldn't stop. My aunt came running to him after I left and started crying, "Look what they're doing to us and her daughter." She made a whole scene when everyone was supposed to be happy and relieved that the wedding got over so successfully. And she made it about herself and her daughter. My father didn't shed a tear when I left home, but he cried when she abruptly took all of her belongings and left, saying we should feel sorry for making her feel this way. I cut off all my connections with her and her daughter after that. Though after a couple of years, my parents and my aunt started talking again, but I couldn't make myself to forgive them. And I cut off all my ties with them. But please don't cut off ties with us when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Facebook. Just tap our profile. Check if we're live right now, but we got a little bit left of the story. What do you think?
Clearly, these people just care about themselves more than they care about UOP. And especially given the context of everything, like what? It's like they catch him smoking a cigarette and then they're like, let's make a big problem. Instead of just like being, an adult about it. And I don't know, having like a side and being like, hey, I thought we talked about this. I thought you weren't going to be smoking. Like, you want to blow up the spot at OP's wedding. It's
Come
like,
on. Stop making this about yourself, dude. What the heck's wrong with you?
And that's probably a microcosm of much larger issues. Yeah. Whenever people are talking about cutting off family, like permanently, like, it's your prerogative. But I always say to leave some level of a crack in the door.
Room for forgiveness.
Right. Because people can change, people can grow and see like that they, have made mistakes. And, when it comes down to a relationship like parents, it's like a lot of times, later in our lives, we can get messed up about it if we've cut them off and now we can't go back, yada, yada, yada. It's, it's a story that's been told many, many times of like, I wish I could have fixed things before they passed.
Yeah.
I wish I could have fixed things before this, before that. Like, it's just always something to be aware of, I guess. But if they're not going to change, then, you have no obligation to do so.
You've done your part by being the best version of yourself, and they didn't. So Lisa was the only bridesmaid I had because I'm an introvert, and the pain of getting ready alone at every event for the wedding was unbearable when I didn't have anyone to help me. It keeps me awake still. Where did I go wrong on my important day? The cousin I loved the most and shared everything with didn't even show up for me. Ugh, that even makes it worse. That was just a cherry on top of this dog pile of crap.
It's an unfortunate situation. Hopefully bridges can be rebuilt.
Yep, and hopefully your honeymoon was nice. Hopefully your honeymoon was the greatest.
Yeah. I wish you and your partner nothing but success in the future.
And love.
But that is the end of that story.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.